Hi guys, I am really excited to share this first pass at the 3D modeling for your remodel and addition in Los Altos Hills. I'm really excited about how this is shaping up. I think you're really going to like the looks based on the images that you've shared with me. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. This should look pretty familiar as your site plan with the driveway here, the garage up front, the existing volume more or less here, but we're adding square footage here at the front. New deck, basement, new roof over here, over the grand new sort of public wing of the house, and then a more modest addition here at the back where the existing roofing of the bedroom wing is existing to remain, but we are accommodating a taller master suite volume addition. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like from street level. So I really love this. So we've got the existing garage volume up here, but with a very sort of appealing and sort of enticing stone entry and stone gable volume for our new addition here. And I really think this is fantastic. I really feel drawn towards this enticing arched entryway that leads to the front door. I think this is really, really lovely. And when we get up here and we come through this arch, we've got a bench element here that just really frames this picturesque view of that massive feature oak tree that you have uphill from your home. I'm really excited about the idea of sitting down here and kicking off your shoes and admiring whatever might occupy this alcove here with some nice lighting on all of this stone. Look back out through this beautiful archway and then be invited into your home. Now, we're not going to go inside the model too much. I've mocked up a few things, but I just want to point out that when we do come in to the home, we do have, again, a fantastic view of that oak tree over the additional bench seating element that we might have. And then we have a curio cabinet here, again, with views of that oak tree because we've got a lot of windows along this new addition here before we get to your new office space. Well, your new office space in existing floor area. Now, this back or this right side of the house should look pretty familiar. This is new again, but this is all meant to be existing wall locations. This is now 10 feet tall rather than just 8 feet tall, and I feel like that's got a really good thing happening for the family room and your office. But then this connector piece here, this is more or less meant to be existing. I propose to replace the existing swinging doors with new sliding doors that match the language of the windows we're doing elsewhere. But that's ultimately up to you. If you want to expend that extra money on new doors, I think you should. Seeing the way you use it, I think it'd be nice for you to be able to put some planters along the inside floor area here, along the fixed panel of the sliding door, and then let the slider be your access to this secondary patio space. And then we've got your daughter's bedroom, your walk-in, her bathroom, her ensuite. We've got some windows for that. Your walk-in closet, and then your new master suite at the back. We've got the bathroom window here, one of them. Now, before we go around that corner, we'll go around that corner, but I kind of want to go back to the entryway, right? Because this is, I think, the way that most of your guests would experience this. They would come up here and they're going to be invited into the home. And again, we're not going inside because it's not fully developed. We're going to spend our time today outside looking at what the planning department's going to be reviewing first and foremost. But let's take your guests perhaps along a secondary route for a party and experience the home that way. So here we have the existing garage volume. And as I pull out here, we start to see the lion's share of the new work that I've been working on for you. So what we have here is a level path leading along the garage and then steps up to the top of the new deck, that new deck being built over that basement space. That basement space spilling out onto a patio here that connects you to the existing grade. I am loving this. I think this is a really fantastic connection to this really large lot that you have. It gets you sort of, I think, halfway down to that existing sports area that you built for your son. But I love this so much. So what we're seeing here at the back, steps up, like I said, steps down. I decided to go with 10-foot ceiling heights for both of these spaces. I knew I was going to do 10 foot for the ground floor or the upper floor, but I thought I might have just been doing 9 foot down here, but it just didn't feel, what's the word? It didn't feel quite grand enough to me, given the effort we're doing to, dig down and excavate this below grade rec room. I feel like it makes more sense to go with 10-foot ceiling heights and sort of capture a bigger patio space here. And we've got the ability to incorporate a couple more steps here as part of this stairway here with plenty of ceiling height, 8-foot ceiling height here at this landing before we get to the opening above. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time inside. So a couple windows flanking this very large sliding glass patio door. And that large element is mirrored up here at the dining area as well. We've got a slightly narrower but still very grandiose amount of sliding glass doors, as well as simple swinging doors here and here, one leading into the kitchen, one leading into that living room area. And then big windows here at the stairway volume, lighting up the stairs and lighting up that stairway volume, and but indirectly so. So we can have the wine there without worrying too much about direct sun. This wine cabinet up here is going to get a little bit of the afternoon sun hitting it directly, but c'est la vie. I think that's okay. One other small element here at the back, or at the intersection of where this taller addition meets the lower garage, is I wanted to give you a way to get directly from the garage up to here. So there's a series of steps inside here, but I've built a little bit of a roofed area here over that so that you could have a direct access to the garage. Now, I would propose that this be a frosted glass door so that you can't really see into whatever's going on inside, be it parked cars or gym equipment or whatever, but the access, I think, is worth it. Versus, for example, if we omitted that and just, for example, took this thing over to, this wall, we would just have a longer sort of gutter line along here, which really, that's not so bad. And access into the garage is just around the corner through these doors. And I could put a door here. I could replace these windows with a door if you wanted. So let me know what you think about that. But I thought that this was okay from the back. It's perhaps a bit busier than it needs to be if you don't feel like you need this access here. But I like it. And from the front, you can't see it at all. I designed it to be in line with the existing ridge of the garage. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see here. So I think the downstairs patio space is pretty self-explanatory, although where I'm building a little bit of a retaining wall to catch the existing grade area, I thought it'd be nice to incorporate a little bit of a wooden bench here with a little fire pit and some plants. I think this is a very nice little area to sit down at the bottom corner of the new basement rec room. And then another window here, just for easy access to crank open. Because while you've got big windows here, these aren't the easiest to, slide open if you just want to get a breeze at the bar area. So we've got a casement window here at the bar. Okay, upstairs. I feel like we've talked about all this. We've got the door into the kitchen for quick and convenient access. But we'll also have these windows on the side flanking this big window at the sink. Those will crank open as well, so you can easily pass drinks out to this very luxurious, very long outdoor bar area. And then from that outdoor bar area, and it's got its own little roof area, so it's really, really cute. I like this little seating area. I did expand the amount of flat area up here, so we've got a lot of room to stand behind people or to scoot out and back out from this area. But I could see making the case of maybe getting rid of one chair and moving these elements up here instead to form a more natural barrier for people tripping and falling. This is a pretty modest drop of only 2 feet, so we don't need to wrap all of this in guardrails. But you know, safety is important. So maybe we'll move that barrier, that implied barrier, up here. Now we're getting to the dining nook area, and so I've got sort of a what I'm calling the mid deck. We've got a lot of deck areas happening, a lot of patio spaces, but I'm calling this the mid deck because I think of this space as a little bit more private because it's in that space. It's access off the hallway or off of your own sort of more informal nook, and this is the transition space between the more formal, more public outdoor spaces and the more private residential space or private bedroom spaces. And so I think of this as just being a little bit more private and for you guys. And so I've got a bit more modest furnishings here and an outdoor barbecue, right adjacent to the kitchen here via this swinging door. But then I thought it'd be really cool to reincorporate an element that used to be out here in this patio space that has failed because it wasn't properly flashed. But we've got that beam and that pergola over here on the south side. I don't think that's necessary. There's not as much to look at here. The tree, I think, is cut off from this pergola, if I'm not mistaken. So what I've done instead is opted to bring that beam element back to bridge this area here, properly flash it so it'll last this time, paint it black too so we can upkeep it, but then hang from that beam these little swinging chairs so you can really sit out here and enjoy the view down the hill. I'm curious to hear what you think about that. And then we come to your son's bedroom on this side with the corner windows that he has now enlarged somewhat and expanded a little bit because I thought his bedroom was a little dark. And then we can take some steps down to a pathway along here, and we've got a window for that shared bathroom. And then I'm opting to eliminate that bay window element here and give this would be, I think, the guest bedroom. Just opt for a pair of windows to match what's happening at your son's room. I think that's appropriate. And then we've got steps leading up to your master bedroom. So while this is the existing volume here, this is your existing this is your daughter's bedroom right now, if I'm not mistaken. Right, because your old master is here, or your current master is right here, converting to your daughter's room. This is the extent of the existing, which by the way is all being reclad, refinished from horizontal siding. Everything is now a mix of horizontal board and batten siding, and then different types of stone. Um, Not as much stone as there is board and batten. There's more siding, but I think the amount of stone we have is still quite plentiful, but used in impactful situations. So here where we have the 8 foot, it transitions to, I believe I went with 9 foot, or no, 10 foot again, good. So 10 foot again to bring this new roof, this new vaulted roof for your master bedroom up higher above the existing roof here to look really purposeful and impactful. And then bringing a little bit of a covered porch roof element over here for you as well. And creating a really small step out balcony for you. Of course, I was tempted to go big with the balcony here, but I feel like, we're not that far from the mid deck. Perhaps it's better to invest more money in making this mid deck nicer and leaving this step out balcony to be rather more modest. But of course, it's possible to expand it out and make it bigger and be able to furnish it a bit more. But from your bedroom, looking out and seeing this transparent wrought iron guardrail only 42 inches away from the glass line feels to me a lot more transparent than taking this edge, which is the walkable surface, the deck edge, out to a line that's further out and starts to obscure your property line. Um, but again, that's not so big of a deal. If you want more deck, let me know. We can certainly expand this. But I thought it was enough. And while we've got some big sliding glass doors here that part from the middle, giving you a big opening, we've got a high window up here as well, taking full advantage of that vaulted ceiling that I've designed in here for you. And then since you've got such a very private space here, and yes, there's another property here, but it felt to me so private. I feel really comfortable and confident doing these very large windows at what is your bed wall. In a side elevation, really, I guess technically this is your very narrow rear elevation. If that narrow area here is the front, this is technically the rear elevation, although certainly I would make the case that this is the front action side of the house. My goodness, look at that. And then the back here or the side, this is certainly feels more like the rear of the home, although still very glassy and with a very envious, beautiful tree right here to highlight and see. But getting back to the rear elevation here, the bed wall of your master suite would have some very tall windows, very high, a lot of glass coming in. Crank these guys open for some fresh air. And then here again, a same pair of windows happening at the master tub. I feel like it's private enough. I don't think we need to go with any modest windows here. But if necessary, of course, we can always go with some modesty shades, those bottom-up Roman style shades that slide up or roll up from the bottom of the window to provide as much privacy as you feel like you need. And then as we come around here, I would propose to split the vanity mirrors, have two separate mirrors on either side of a very large window here, because I'd like to have from the doorway here that we're seeing that leads into the master bedroom, I'd like to either have that be a glassy door with a window above it that's clear so that you're always getting some borrowed light coming in through here. Especially in the morning, right? Because this is an east facing, a morning sun facing elevation. So that seems pretty important to me. But we can tweak that. And in fact, I think looking at this, splitting the sinks perfectly kind of looks a little off. Maybe I'll see what I can make work if I perfectly center that window under the gable. And then not too small. It's a large window at your walk-in closet. I could see making the case for making both of these windows at your daughter's ensuite bathroom and at your walk-in closet, raising these windowsills up. But seemed pretty private to me. So let me know what you think. We can always have sheer curtains or sheer shades drawn across these windows to provide as much abundant light as we want, and views when we want them and privacy when we want it. So I'm all for going with larger windows on such a private lot like you have. And so coming around here, this is the new roofing that sits on top of a 10-foot wall at your very glassy family room. This is now the TV wall. So there'd be a TV behind this solid bit of wall here. And then here is your office space, which I feel is really just got, I think, probably the best framed view of the oak. I think that is just so super exciting, especially when when we're at the dining table You know, I'm not sure if you're going to sit here at the head of the table looking at your own office space, or if you're going to sit here looking at all the wine. So, one thing I'm not too keen on, that you might have picked up on just now, is that from the dining space, which has a great view out this way and connection to the outdoors, we do kind of have a line of sight to the powder room door. And so I'm not too keen on that. You know, it is what it is. I think it wouldn't be difficult to install a very powerful self-closing hinge, or actually a series of hinges, having them all be spring-loaded self-closing hinges that are always making this door close and be shut. Because I don't want to see a toilet from your dining room. The alternative to that, or if we really want to move this door, we could not have this tall curio display cabinet here. This could go away, and we could instead move the door to be over here instead. And that might be the better option to do, but we can revisit that when we meet live to talk about your feedback of how you feel about this really fantastic remodel and addition. One more fly around, and then I will stop the video for you guys. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to serve as your architect. This has been a real pleasure working on this project, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thank you, guys.